In the last year, I've spent tens of thousands of dollars on YouTube ads, helped realtors and wholesalers close hundreds of thousands in revenue, and worked with different businesses from large teams to solo operators. My clients pay me thousands of dollars to run YouTube ads for them. In this video, I'm going to review everything that you need to know about creating YouTube ads that will generate you hundreds of thousands of dollars in new deals. We are going to cover why YouTube ads are the best deal source going into 2026, then how to set up your ad account, my 4-step system for creating banger ads, including the research, the scripting, recording, editing, and then finally the breakdowns of some of my winning ads. This way you can see my entire process for setting up and creating YouTube ads from start to finish while replicating the exact process. By the end of this video, my promise to you is that you will have everything you need in order to set up a high-performing YouTube ads campaign from start to finish. So the big question you may be asking is why YouTube ads? Maybe you've heard of it before, maybe you haven't, maybe you think it's different, maybe you understand its value, but really specifically, what's the deal? Why is it the best deal source? And it comes down to the conversion rate. So there are multiple different channels and different metrics that you track when using different channels. So for cold calling, you're going to check out your conversion rate. What does it take? Usually it takes about 1% to 2%, or 1% to 2% of people you cold call end up converting. With direct mail, you're looking for response rates of about 2 to 3%. And then there's other paid advertising platforms, Facebook, Google, Instagram, etc. And the thing is, just briefly, I'm going to touch on it before we go into YouTube ads. Facebook ads, complete garbage. You can get it to work if you're running really, really high budgets and you're just looking to squeeze every bit of people out of a particular area. Let's say you're running nationwide campaigns, you can get it to work. You're going to see less than a 1% conversion rate from these people. You probably are going to see like less than a 10% response rate from these people. These leads are people that are scrolling, curious, window shoppers, might not even be in the market, and they're literally just filling out forms for fun. There's no rhyme or reason, and like I said, 10% of people might be in the market, if that. Google ads are different on the sense of these are the highest performing, the highest intent-based people, but the problem with Google ads is the mere fact that you cannot scale because it is so expensive, because you're competing for keywords that you're also competing against high companies that spend millions of dollars a year. So with that being said, this is where YouTube ads comes into play. Because most companies don't want to record themselves, it's labor intensive, or people's perception is it's labor intensive, it's completely unsaturated. Therefore, you're taking Google's traffic and intent-based targeting algorithm, but you're putting it on a platform where it's much less saturated. Therefore, your conversion rate is so much higher because you're spending less to acquire a customer. So when sellers watch your ads, another thing is they already know, like, and trust you because they've seen you, especially if you get your creative down to a science. And we're going to break that down in a little bit. And just extending off of what I said before, the problem with something like cold calling is the more deals you get, the more dialers you have to hire, and the more management headaches you have to deal with. And therefore, this makes it linear growth. And eventually, you're going to hit a ceiling. Along with direct mail, a very similar logical sequence takes in place here. So more deals equals more mail equals higher costs, but with higher costs, usually ends up giving you a lower quality list. And this is going to eventually just hit diminishing returns in your market because of the fact that the list may be staying around the same or worsening the quality, and you're going to be spending more in order to acquire more leads. Now, the YouTube ad solution, going more in depth about it, is you can create one great ad and it will run 24/7 without any management. And if you want more leads, literally increase the budget on that campaign. That's all you have to do. You don't have to hire cold callers. You don't have to manage bigger mail campaigns. There's no geographic limitations with this, and there's no lead quality problems. So this is what true leverage is. Now, I'm not going to make it sound like you're never going to get a bad lead from YouTube ads, but comparative to where you're going to be spending more for lower quality and the trend is on a descent, YouTube ads is only on the ascent. Even if you get maybe a couple more bad quality leads, the ratios are going to remain the same. But with that being said, I still get a lot of comments, but cold calling still works. And the truth is, of course it does. So does driving mail. But this is not the point of what I'm trying to make, because top performers that are doing consistently 10, 20 deals a month, they're not picking one channel. They're stacking on top of channels. And on top of that, YouTube ads is the channel that I've noticed that gives them the highest quality leads with the least ongoing effort. That's the key thing I want to emphasize here. This is the least amount of effort for the most amount of growth. Therefore, you have the highest amount of leverage. And cold calling, just like I said before, it requires constant effort, and direct mail requires constant spend. And with YouTube ads, once it's working, It's just working. You just optimize it and then you continue to scale and continue the same business model without the hassle of management headaches. So with all this being said, let's jump into exactly how you can set up your ad account and get this whole thing going. So the first thing you want to do is create your Google Ads account. You're going to head on over to ads.google.com. You're going to sign into your Google account, or you're going to create one if you need to, and then click Start Now to begin the setup process. So let's just do that real quick. So we'll head on over here. Hopefully my editor will cancel this out, but we're going to click Start Now. And then right here, you should have the option to create a new Google Ads account. I have the max amount of Google Ads accounts I can create on my Google Ads account because I manage a bunch of clients. Like I said, hopefully the editor cuts that out. But anyway, you'll be going in, you'll follow the process, and eventually you end up on a page where you need to submit your billing information. And then from there, all you're going to do is put that in, and then you're going to be good to go. You're going to be brought to the main page, which is going to look something along the lines of this. This is just a test account that I made. But basically, it looks just like this. And you're going to want to start with a budget of around $500 to $1,000. And this is just good for testing. You can always add more money. But what I always recommend is that you use a fresh Google Ads account dedicated to ads, just because this keeps things organized and it protects your account. Google Ads is not known for banning accounts, comparative to something like Facebook. But with that being said, there are things that happen, and this just, again, secures that protection. Step number 2, you want to link a YouTube channel. So what you want to do is basically go to Tools and Settings in the Google Ads account, go to Linked Accounts, find your YouTube, click Details, click Add Channel, and then we're going to sign in and authorize the connection. Now, why this actually matters is just simply because linking gives you access to audience data, engagement metrics, and the ability to retarget people who have watched your ads. And this is absolutely key, because people who've watched your ads engaged with your landing page, maybe started filling out a form but never finished it, or people that are in the market but may just not have enough trust built enough yet. And if you can retarget them, activating the mere exposure effect, it's going to build that trust. It's going to build authority, especially if you run the right ads and campaigns. For example, testimonial style things to build trust. You can do case studies, etc. But that's basically what you're going to do. So I'll show you how to do that right now. All right, guys, so we're back. So basically, Google Ads updates all the time. I literally had to find this. Instead of going to Tools and going into the Linked Accounts section, you're going to want to click on Data Manager. And then from here, this is where you can review if you've already created the account and connect your YouTube account. Just click Connect. You'll go in from there. It's as simple as that. And then now you have the ability to retarget people that have accessed your ads already. So now that you have the ad account set up, I want to break down how the ad account actually works, and we're going to go in depth and show you tangible examples. So there's a hierarchical structure to it. And at the top is the campaign level. This is going to determine the type of campaign you're running, the goal, the location targeting, bidding strategy, and so on. So what that's going to look like is if you go into an ad account and you go right to the beginning of the screen, this is the home screen right here. You go to campaigns and you click this blue check button here. You can create a new campaign. You can choose the type of campaign you're going to be running. For wholesale, always use leads. And then you have an opportunity to input your conversion action. This is where you're going to be tracking where your conversions are coming from. Typically, you're going to be setting this up with a landing page. You can do phone calls. For now, I'm going to leave it at phone calls just because, I don't want to set that up in the video. It's very time intensive. And next, you have the campaign type. So with YouTube ads, it's always going to be video. And then we're just going to start a new draft. Now, this is the campaign level, as you can see up here. And like I said before, you have the ability to set the budget. So if you're running $100 a day, location and language. This is where you want to enable location or campaign location and language settings. And I would just, if you're running wholesale campaigns, a lot of companies run just nationwide. You can literally leave it on the United States. If you want to do statewide, let's say you're running it in California, you can just locate California. You can even leave out like surrounding states like Nevada. You can exclude it. Or, Mexico, you can exclude it. Even Arizona's on the border, you can exclude all of this stuff just to ensure, because as you can see, sometimes like California will cross over into Arizona or whatever, and people just might not have a license or whatever the situation is, or you just can't simply service these areas. And that's just what I recommend you do is exclude surrounding locations. And then next you have the device targeting. So what I recommend you do with this is just turn off TV screens. You can also turn off tablets as well. 90% of the conversions are going to come from mobile phones and computers. 9.99% are going to come from tablets. And I honestly have never even really seen TV conversions before when running wholesale ads. So just turn it off. It's wasted spend, not necessary. And that's the campaign level of the hierarchical structure of the ad account. Now moving into the ad group level, this is basically where they host a group of ads, this level right here. And basically it determines the specific targeting for the ads outside of the basic demographic targeting that we just covered, whether it's location, all that kind of stuff. So let me just show you what that looks like. So in the ad account, we're gonna go here. This is the ad group right here. So you have the ability to choose placement targeting. And what I always recommend you do, this is a little hack, is to disable everything except for YouTube in-stream ads. You're gonna save a ton of money doing this. YouTube in-feed can get results, but this is usually for higher budget, split testing stuff. And YouTube Shorts, same thing as well. If you're starting out, just use YouTube in-stream. Simple as that. I'm literally giving you free sauce here. Like just use it, YouTube in-stream. Trust me, it converts the best. Now for your audience, this is where you're gonna actually put in who you're gonna be targeting within the certain demographic that you're gonna be targeting. So what I like to do is use in-market segments. So things like homeowners, people that, residential properties, or, let's even say purchasing a home soon. Sometimes these people are in those specific situations. And this is going to give the algorithm something to base its targeting off of. And it's important to give it a sort of guideline. It is going to mainly depend on the scripting of your ads. That's just how AI algorithms learn nowadays. But this is good because it's going to save you a lot of time. So this is what I'd recommend you use. You can split test it by also using things like custom segments where you use keywords that people have searched in, like sell my home fast, cash offer for my home, cash offer on house, home cash offer, all cash offer, fair cash offer. You get the point. And then finally, at the ad level, this is what consists of the individual ads themselves, the headlines, the descriptions, the call to action, so on. And this is also very important, obviously. Without the ads, you have no campaign. And then basically, it's going to be over here. So this is an example of an ad. So you want to input your landing page. Let's just do, cashoffer.com. Let's say that's your website / landing page 1 or wherever it is. This is not a real landing page, I don't think. I mean, you can test it out, but nothing affiliated with me. And you just want to name it, let's say this is hook number 1. If you have 5 different hooks, this is what I recommend you do is split test different hooks to start. Then you're going to paste the YouTube video that you uploaded. Add your logo. Basically, your brand's logo. If you're a sole proprietor, you can upload your face. And then for asset optimization, I always recommend you uncheck these 3 options. These don't really help you. If anything, it can even cut your videos in important parts. So just leave all these unchecked. For the headline, you can do like sell my home or sell your house without the hassle. You can do, no obligation. I can't spell, no fees. And then you can use this and stack these up. And the same thing is with this. You could literally copy and paste the exact same things here. For your business name, you want to put it in. And then for the call to action text, you want to have learn more. 99.9% of the time, this is what you're going to use. It's just the best performing call to action text to use. And that's basically the 3 different levels of the hierarchical structure within a campaign in your ad account. What my campaign structure of choice would be is using one campaign with one ad group with an audience in it, and then 3 to 5 different ads within that audience group. So why I do this is because I like to split test different targeting types. It's important to know which targeting type works best for your specific market, whether it's a state, whether it's, if you run nationwide, there's a lot of information out there, but if you're running specific markets, this is absolutely necessary to figure out. And typically, I wrote upwards of 10 campaigns to start with about $10 a day per campaign. You can go as low as 5. I don't really recommend it. $10 a day is typically recommended, and $100 a day is typically the starting budget I would run for wholesale campaigns. Like I said, you can get away with running $500 to $1,000 a month for testing purposes, but if you really want to see leads consistently within a reasonable time frame, I would recommend, like I said, $10 a day, 10 campaigns to start. Now, I want to break down the targeting a little bit more in depth with you guys. So I already went over custom segments and in-market audiences, but there are 5 different types of targeting. So your data segments, which this is the most niche specific. This is going to find the ideal prospect, but it's also going to cost the most. And this is for your remarketing campaigns, people that have visited your website or your landing page, YouTube viewers, YouTube subscribers, etc. And then getting into a little bit less niche, you have custom segments. These are people that have interests in the particular keywords that are relevant to wholesale. So, sell my house for cash, like we saw before, websites, search terms, etc. And then we have in-market audiences, which I always recommend to start testing first. These are life events or in-market segments that you saw before, whether it's, purchasing a home soon, people that are homeowners, et cetera, et cetera. And then you have interest and affinity targeting. These are just people's certain interests that they have or adjacent keywords or interests that are relevant to cash offers, or someone that's facing foreclosure, someone that's facing, that's got an inherited home, et cetera. And then finally is demographics, which is things like age brackets, household income, and gender. Don't run these campaigns. They're not applicable to real estate. They actually don't even allow you to run them anymore within the YouTube ads campaign, but I figured I'd run this in case, let's say, you're not running a wholesale campaign, but let's say you're running roofing or something like that. You can do, actually roofing might not work, but something like construction, for example, you can run demographic targeting. Now, something I want to get into is location targeting. In real estate, location targeting is essential because unlike Facebook, Google allows you to target very niche areas while excluding others, as you saw before. And there's hard targeting, and then which is like radius-based or region zip code-based, and then there's soft targeting. So you can manipulate Google's algorithm. You can add specific callouts within the ads and the headlines, area callouts, headline callouts, and creative callouts. And you want to utilize both of these in order to maximize the effectiveness of your ads. If you can have a creative call out, like, hey, Georgia homeowners, so that's a creative call out. And then within the headline, sell your Georgia home for cash today is a headline call out within the ad itself. And this manipulates the algorithm. And then on top of that, if you just do radius-based targeting, let's say like a 20-mile radius around, let's say Atlanta, or you can do like zip code-based stuff, or just honestly the entirety state of Georgia. Combining both of these is going to give you the maximum effect on targeting the exact ideal customer profile. So now we broke down how to set up your ad account, the basics of an ad account, and I want to give you now my 4-step system for actually creating banger ads. Now, the complete overhead process looks something like this. Number 1, we have to research. So find winning angles, understanding your audience, spying on competitors. From that information and research, we then get into scripting. We craft out our hook, our body, call to action that converts views into leads. Then we move into recording. So we talk about the equipment, the delivery of your recording, and the authenticity of what you're recording. And then finally, the editing, the pacing, graphics, and keeping attention. So let's break down each of these steps. So first off is research. Before you write a single word into your script, you need to know exactly your ICP, who you're talking to, and what makes them take action. Because bad research is going to lead to poor positioning, ads that aren't actually speaking to your audience. You can reach your audience, but you're not actually speaking to them. You're not resonating with them. But great research are ads that are going to print you money and actually scale your business. So what research gives you is the exact words your audience uses, the emotions that actually drive them, and the objections you need to overcome. And finally, the proof points that actually build trust to get them to convert, to get them to know, like, and trust you so you can close them. So how do you do this? First off, you need to understand your motivated seller. There are different seller types. There's inherited properties, so people that are overwhelmed, emotional, often they're out of state. And what do they want? They want a fast, easy solution. They don't want any repairs. They don't want any tenants. They want none of that. They want to get, if they have, let's say, siblings and stuff, they want to get their fair share. They want to get out of there and they want to get their money. That's it, done. Now, for a divorce situation, it's also very speed-based psychology. It's high stress, need to split assets. And again, speed's a priority, minimal hassle. They don't want any garbage. They want you to help them get what they need fast. Something like pre-foreclosure, this is a little bit different psychology. So this is more emotional. This is desperate. People that are ashamed, they're scared, they have, life gets in the way and people have a lot of problems and they need your help. And what they want is a lifeline, not a lecture and no judgment. They want proactive help to see if there's any equity left in the property and to see if, obviously you can make something out of this for yourself as well. And then finally, tired landlords as well. These are just burnt out from tenants and repairs. And honestly, they're probably going to take less, from my experience, for certainty and speed, just simply because they want that hassle off of their back. And it's creating so much emotional turmoil and friction within their lives. And the key insight here to understand is that each seller has different pain points and your ads should speak to one specific situation. Don't try to be everything to everyone in one ad. Casting a wide net is going to get you generic leads. If you don't know how to cast wide nets properly, it's advanced advertising and marketing. The easiest way to go about it is just understanding your different seller types and just targeting different ads based on those. And this is going to get you the fastest results by far. Once you understand your seller types, you want to research winning angles, and how to actually do so is Google reviews of yourself, competitors, and read the 5-star and the 1-star reviews. Learn what people loved, obviously do more of that, and what they hated. Don't mention it. Use Facebook groups. You can join groups where motivated sellers hang out, read their posts, note the language they use, situations they're in, problems they're facing, and so on. And then for Reddit, something very similar. You just want to search need to sell house fast and read the posts, because these are real people solving real problems. And these are a gold mine for ad angles. Because Facebook groups and Reddit, they're based on the community and trusting the community and each other to provide accurate and trustworthy information. These people trust each other. So trust that they're going to give honest opinions. They're not here to fluff. They're not other, wholesalers making stuff up. These are real people with real problems that are looking for real solutions. So like I said, just reiterating what I'm saying, this is a gold mine. Now, step number 2, after all the research is done, now you can move into your scripting. And your script is going to be 80% of whether or not your ad is either going to print you hundreds of thousands of dollars or just flop. Everything else, the recording, the editing, the targeting, this is optimization. This is not fundamentals. A great script with iPhone footage will easily beat a bad script with Hollywood production every single time. This is no fluff. This is proven back data. Trust me on this. I have seen hundreds and hundreds of ad accounts in my time. I have always seen people try to emphasize the editing and the angles and this, because they think somehow Hollywood production is going to boost authority. And that worked, a decade or 2 decades ago. But nowadays, organic authenticity and trust is what sells, not the perception of you being high status and high value. While that matters, organic, friend-based psychology is what's going to be selling. So with all this being said, because we can go on a tangent about it, there are 3 parts to every high converting ad. There's a hook, there's a body, and then a call to action. You have 5 seconds before someone clicks skip ad. Your hook must do only one thing, and everybody gets this wrong. And the goal is to make them want to hear more. This is about a pattern interrupt based thing. This is not about telling everybody about your business, what you do, who you are. This is to get them to stick around, what's in it for them, why they should keep listening. So 5 hook formulas that work. Literally, you can copy, screenshot this for yourself. Hook number 1 you can use is something like contrarian or alternative solution. So audience or like location. This isn't the only way to achieve your desired outcome. Our alternative is better, benefit, and benefit, or benefit, benefit, benefit. You can do like a conditional qualifier and then urgency as well. So, location or audience. If you want specific outcome with desired time frame, then listen up, because we offer the solution no matter the common objection. Another killer. Another one is a conditional qualifier plus pain point. So audience, if you need outcome without pain point, listen up. Then introduce your offer no matter the common objection. Another thing is like a property-based qualifier. So, hey, audience, if your house is specifically qualifying criteria, introduce your direct offer no matter the common objection. And finally, have a benefit stack plus a call to action. So audience, if you want to, sell your home without fees or, realtors, click the button below to get a cash offer within 7 days today. Now moving into the body, this is the next 30 to 60 seconds. And this is going to build trust and handle objections before they end up on the call. So you want to use a structure like this. Introducing credibility. So you've helped, X family sell their home in city this year alone. Then you're going to break down the process. So here's how it works. Click the button, submit your information. I look at the house and you receive a cash offer in less than 24 hours. And then you're going to lead into the objection handling. So you can talk about, without repairs, lowball offers, realtors, fees, etc. And then what I love doing, this is really key, is introducing proof or a story. So last week I helped Maria sell her inherited property in less than 9 days. After she submitted her information, within 24 hours, we looked at the property. Within 6 days, we gave her a cash offer, and she walked away with X amount of equity. And the goal is to keep it conversational. You want to talk like you're explaining this to a friend, and you're not reading a legal document. Because like I said, authenticity and organicness is what's going to drive conversions in 2026. Not being superficial, not being perceived as a Hollywood production star. And then finally, the call to action is the last 10 seconds. You can keep this stupid simple. Don't overcomplicate it. Just tell them what they need to do. Restate the benefit. If you want a cash offer on your house this week, click the blue button below or call the number on the screen. It's a free, no obligation conversation, no pressure, done. You can literally use this exact call to action. It's as simple as that, right? Like literally don't overcomplicate this. I'm not even gonna stick on this slide anymore. It's super easy. Then, now once you have the script down, you move into the recording. Like I said before, most of the stuff comes down to the actual ads scripting themselves. But when it comes to the recording of the ads, having your iPhone is enough and honestly even superior to start out, because motivated sellers, they don't care about 4K resolution. They care about whether you seem trustworthy and you can actually solve their problem. And like I said before, slightly imperfect, real looking videos often outperform polished corporate looking ads because people buy from people they trust. And this builds a lot of trust. Now, when getting on camera, you want to actually look at the camera lens and not on the screen, because you don't want to make it look like you're reading off of a screen. People want to feel like what you're saying is how you actually operate and feel and how you resonate with other people on a daily basis. They don't want to, be like, oh, this person used ChatGPT to talk about my pain points. As soon as they smell that you're trying to sell them something, they're out, they're gone. But if you can, show them that this is what you do, you bring people out of their stressful, hard, friction-based situation and you lead them to a better opportunity where there's equity involved, where you can actually create solutions and create a whole new life for them. Now we're talking about real human interactions, real human engagement. And this is showcased the best on YouTube ads, but inversely, if you do it wrong, it can have a worse effect because you're not doing it correctly. Now, things that help is you can record in chunks. You don't have to do it all at once. You can do the hook separately, then you can do each body section and then do a CTA because it's easier to nail each part and you have more energy per section. Now, what's important to understand is you want to have good energy at the start and then you want to be calm in the call to action, because high energy that hooks your attention, like you're probably, leaning into the screen right now as I'm raising my energy. And then as you move into the calm call to action aspect, now you seem more trustworthy because, you seem relaxed. You've done this before. You close deals all the time. It's not a problem, right? And so this can look something like, hey, Georgia homeowners, if you're looking to sell your home in less than 7 days, listen up. Something like that. And then as you move into the call to action from the body, you could be, like we helped Mary sell her home in less than 9 days and helped her get an extra $200,000 in equity. If you want to sell your house now, click the button below. It's a simple 3-step process. Simply fill out your information on the form. We'll get back to you within 24 hours and give you your cash offer, a fair cash offer, no fees, no inspections, etc. And I know I'm stuttering a little bit, but the point is you can see how now I've transitioned from high energy to low energy, and you can see how the change of my tonality changes your perception of how you're going to view me. So this is really the key here, and the contrast does actually matter. Now, the simple recording setup that I recommend is using an iPhone, or you can go with a DSLR camera for more high quality stuff. I recommend an iPhone if I'm gonna be honest with you. And then you can use a teleprompter app. So on your iPhone itself, just literally use a teleprompter. And then have a lavalier mic or a wireless DJI mic. This is actually really important to have good audio quality. If you're in like a car or something like that recording, you might even be able to get away with just using like an iPhone's microphone just because of the reverberation and the acoustics within the environment of a car are not really reverberated. And then you want to just have natural lighting. So literally go out in the car on a sunny day. I just gave you literally the cheat code. Go out in your car on a sunny day. You're gonna have natural lighting. You don't even need a separate mic. Spend a budget on that. You can use a teleprompter app and use your phone. You're good to go. And lastly, we have the editing process. Now, editing for YouTube ads is different than editing for content because the goal is not to impress, but it's to hold attention and drive action. Drive action is really the key here. You want to keep it simple, keep it fast, and remove anything that doesn't serve the sale. So if there's dead air, remove all the pauses, ums, uhs, because every second on your ad actually counts. And you want to add captions because this statistic, I've read multiple different studies. What I've noticed is about 50 to 80% of YouTube is watched on mute. And you want to make the text big and readable regardless, even if it's 50%. 50%, like half of the people watching your ads are watching it on mute. Imagine that. And so if you have your captions, making it big and readable, people are going to stick around, watch it, and continue to be intrigued in the video. And then you want to have like zoom cuts. So subtle zoom in and outs between sentences creates movement and it keeps the eyes visually engaged. And then you can have B-roll, which is optional. So you can show your houses, neighborhoods, or you on the job, on the location. And it proves you're real and local. Like if you can prove like, if you have drone shots, custom drone shots of neighborhoods that you're going to be targeting or just statewide stuff, or you in a neighborhood and a property you've already sold, golden. And then finally, testimonials. So if you can get them in the office, recording a video of them, talking about, hey, we were in X position, they made me feel like family. This was more of a family relationship rather than a business transaction. That's where you want to be, rather than being in this superficial kind of conversation. Just add in real results, client testimonials, case studies, anything that makes the audience feel this company's legit. This person and this person that they're filming feels exactly like me, and I want to be that person. And then finally, the editing tech stack I recommend is just using CapCut or Premiere Pro. If you want B-roll, you can use something like Pexels, which is free, or Artlist for premium B-roll. For local B-roll, like we said before, obviously you can talk to partners or get your own drone. You can have client testimonials, local partners, etc. Use Epidemic Sounds, so music and effects. And then also for thumbnails, like for the display network, like I talked about before, when you start scaling your ads, you can use Canva or Photoshop. But really all that you need out of this tech stack that I recommend to start is literally CapCut and local B-roll. That's it. You don't even really need music. You don't need thumbnails to start. Just CapCut, just local B-roll. You are going to be golden. And if you really want to get lean, honestly, just using CapCut to cut the video is as simple as that. And so now finally, what you've been waiting for are some example ads of what I'm actually talking about here. So the first thing is a VSL format. So this is just for like my regular agents right here. Basically what we have is the hook. So
You're thinking about selling your home anywhere in Chester County, this message is specifically for you.
So as you can see here, we're going to keep it brief. Let's just let the ad run a little bit more. So as you can see, like if you're thinking about selling a home anywhere in Chester County, this message is specifically for you. We're recording natural lighting, as you can see, full lighting, lighting up the face. And essentially, in today's market, it can be hard to know how much you should be getting for your home, et cetera, et cetera. But as you can see, what we're doing is we have quick cuts. We have some B-roll in the back, and it's just very, very simplistic stuff that makes it super, super easy to keep the user engaged. The same thing can apply now for something like Wholesale. If we load this up, as you can see here, we're calling out, if your home was built before 2020, I want to buy your house right now, as is, no matter what condition it's in. And as you can see here, we have very, very fast-paced edits. We don't have minimal editing, and it's literally just her recording herself on her phone. It's as simple as that. Right? And then the same thing applies now with something like a testimonial style format. And essentially here, we just have an example of, this is an example of one of the case studies and clients that we have. And then there's an example of me just basically going over, hey, this is X's name. Here's what happened. She explained her story. Then we have a couple other more testimonials from people. And then we basically just have the call to action. So we do the same thing every time. Fair cash offer, no fees, no repairs. If you're in Georgia, you're looking to sell your home, click the button below. And it's as simple as that. And that's basically the formats for the different ads. So these are the three best winning formats. Obviously, you can have a VSL, you have a niche vertical format, and then a testimonial format. And these are the killers for actually creating ads. So if you want to work with me and you want to skip the learning curve and just create YouTube ads today, get your campaigns running, get some leads in, get some deal flow in, get a 10, 20x ROI on your ads, all we basically do is we do done for you ad creation. We also do the scripting, the recording guidance, the editing as well. We do the campaign setup and the targeting strategy, landing page optimization, ongoing optimization and scaling, everything done for you. So all you have to do is when we connect our system to your CRM or our CRM in general, you make the calls. All you need to do is close the deal from there. And we handle everything on the top and middle and even the back end as well. And if you're looking for this, just book a call below because I want to see if this makes sense for your business. And you can literally speak to me with the link in the description. There's zero obligation to work with me. I will break down my exact process with you and we can see if this makes sense for your business going into 2026 and so on. So that's all I got for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.